It's day 73. Now look, I thought it important to point out to you that I have actually got dressed and washed and been to bed again, and then I'm wearing this again today. I mean, I say this, you have no idea whether I'm telling the truth or not, do you? But anyway, I thought I should point it out. I'd like to say thank you to everybody on Facebook who recommended this wonderful glue Mod Podge to me the other day, because I bought some for my craft project because I'm making a bucket. Well, I'm decorating a bucket. I'm a bit like Kitty off her scene on TV. But I'm not going to be giving it to Mr. Culverhouse in flat 5. Is Mr. Culverhouse that lives in flat 5, or is it a lovely couple of boys that live in flat 5? I'm sure someone will tell me. So I'm making this bucket, right? Well, I'm not making it, I'm decorating it. Because in Edinburgh, when you do the free fringe, you do what's called a bucket speech at the end. And it's so that you can ask for money, because people have come in for free, but they're not getting out for free. Or, you do let them out, but hopefully they will put some money in the bucket and pay what they can, what they think the show is worth, or whatever, really. And that's how we make money on the free fringe. And I've got to practice this in my preview. So if you're coming to my preview and you haven't bought a ticket, but you've reserved a ticket, don't forget bucket at the end. And yes, I do have electronic means of getting your dosh out of you, so never fear. But the bucket's the traditional way, and I thought, because I haven't got enough to do with, writing the 9th draft, which I did yesterday, of the show, and, learning it and finding the right purple blouse. Oh, this blouse, I tell you. I thought what might be fun was I'd cut up lots of little bits of pictures, little pictures of Victoria Wood, and Julie Walters, of course, is there all over the place. And I would decorate this bucket. So I'm blithering about on a Sunday, rainy Sunday, and my husband's doing the VAT upstairs, so I can hear a lot of swearing. And I'm doing this. I'm creating this sort of, I don't know, Victoria Wood bucket. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't do things like this. If you're a crafty person, you're probably looking at all the things I've done wrong and going, no, you don't want to do it like this. So yes, in case you're worried, I did key my bucket first. I did do a little bit of sanding with some light sandpaper of the bucket first. Thank you for whoever it was that recommended that, because it was a really good tip. What I've learned is, I think this bucket is a bit of a metaphor. It's a bit of a metaphor for the process of the show. And I was talking the other day about, I was writing a new draft and getting rid of lots of things and working with Sarah and Michael again on Friday. And that process being, overwhelming and being a bit confusing and sometimes hard to know what to let go of or say goodbye to, like pruning your roses in your garden. This sense of loss, this sense of, but I loved that bit. Oh, I did all that work, which you have to constantly sort of fight against when you create things. And so, because I'm not very used to doing crafts, or is this decoupage? I think this would be called decoupage. Because I'm not used to it, I did it all, I didn't do it right. I just took my massive pile of cutouts of Victoria Wood. So some of you at this stage may be thinking, you've cut up Victoria Wood books. Yes, I have. I've cut up books. Number one, I've cut up books. And I know for a lot of people that's sacrilegious. So, speak to your God about how you feel about that. But what I want you to know is that I've kept my copies, and I got new copies off eBay of the same book. So don't worry, I haven't cut up my copies of Victoria Wood books. And I've got all of these pictures, and there's very few which are colour. So I thought, colour's nice, isn't it? So that's going to be a premium colour. And you know what's also at a premium are pictures of her, because of course was so, I can't find any now because I've thrown half of them away. Most of them are in this bucket, you see. All the things I've thrown away in this bucket today, this is about half of what I've ripped up and thrown away. They're not her. They're pictures of Julie, because Julie, by design or by default, Julie's there in the forefront, looking fabulous, looking Julie, smiling at the camera, being often much more glamorous than the character that Victoria is playing. And Victoria is often standing to the side or standing just behind her or just looking like that, so you can only see half of her face, like my grandma used to be when you took a photo of her. She'd always have half her face covered with her mouth. And so, number one, it's quite hard to get a decent photo of Victoria Wood because she keeps going, hey, well, look at Julie Walters, look at Duncan Preston, look at Celia Rimmery instead. So that's annoying. But when you finally do that and you start sticking things on and you go, oh, I'll find the right big bit and I'll cover up my big plastic bucket, and now it's no longer a boring plastic bucket. And then you realise, oh no, I want to layer that with more bits and then more bits and more bits, which I am doing. But then you realise you need lots and lots of little ones. You need lots of little pictures of Victoria. Little pictures of Victoria. This is where I think I'm sort of getting it right. The metaphor for the show is, what's this bucket about? This bucket's not about Julie Walters. I mean, yeah, Julie's part of my show. Of course she is, and the characters that she played. And so is Susie Blake. But they're not the show. And there's only, just like a bucket, there's only a finite amount of space in a bucket. There's only a finite amount of things I can say in 1 hour, even if I talk really, really fast, which I can do. But I like there to be a bit of space around you talking so that people can applaud. So, yeah, I'm not sure how much sense this is making, but I've turned it into some sort of rainy Sunday pondering metaphor for the process. And the fact that even though I cut out all of these bits of paper and lovingly, with tremendous love for Celia and Duncan and Julie, you know, I've had to come to the decision that, well, you've got to go. And they're all ripped up. They're all ripped up in the bucket and they're going in my bin. Because this bucket is about Vic. So now I've got to find some small, pretty pictures of Vic, not all with a terrible perm from Pat and Margaret, which is very hard to do, and finish off my bucket. And hopefully you'll see it at the Edinburgh Festival or at one of my previews. You'll see it, and you might even put money in it at the end if you like the show. So yeah. And the other thing I've learned about decoupage is you should sort before you start sticking, right? Sort things out into your colour ones, sort things out into piles of like, these are my big bits, these are my small bits, these are my long bits, these are my bits which are a funny shape. Do that before you do any gluing. This is my second round of gluing and I'm stopping again so that I can go back and do another round of, right, what shapes and sizes have I got? Oh, I didn't even think to get this one on nice and early, did I? Right, I really am blithering now. Day 73, see you tomorrow if we're saved.